you going to do? You can tell me. What are you going to do?
Put your thumb in your chest.
Very quietly. Okay. And then, if you're sitting quietly with your thumbs to your chest, that also means that you want to share. And I might pick on you. Okay? And I might call your name. Or not your name. I might pick you to share. You can tell us what you were thinking. Okay? How did you figure that out? Are you ready? All right, let me show you the first one. When I hold this up, if you think you know how many cubes there are, ready? Hands down. Before you tell me, will you whisper to a neighbor how many you think there are? Okay. All right. Who would like to share? Yes, ma'am. How many did you see?
5.
And how did you figure that out so quickly?
My thinking in my head.
What did you do? Can you come up and show us what you did, maybe? What did you start to do first? When I showed you these cubes, how did you figure out that there were 5? Can you do that out loud?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you. What was your name?
Selena.
Selena. Thank you, Selena. Did anybody else do it like Selena? Did they count all of them and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I was doing it in my head. We did.
Good job. Did anybody do it a different way than Selena? Did anybody look at these red and white cubes and count them a different way? Yes, sir. The cool shirt. Come on up. Can you show us what you did?
The chipmunk.
What's your name? Brandon? Can you tell us what you did, Brandon?
I counted in my head.
How did you count them?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is that the same as Selena's or is that different?
The same.
Thank you, Brandon. You can have a seat. Did anybody do it different than Selena or Brandon? And they didn't go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did anybody count them a different way? Back there in the back. Come on. What's your name, honey?
Right now.
Raynell? Am I saying that right? Raynell, how did you count them? Can you do it for us out loud?
2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, look what she did. Thank you so much. She started with these right here. I'm going to break them off. She already knew that this was how much?
2.
She just knew it. She didn't even have to count them. So she just said 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that one way to do it? Can we do it that way? Is that okay?
Or you can do it like this.
There's another way. Would you like to come up, handsome fella? What's your name? William. So we had Selena and Brandon's way, and they counted all. We had, is it Raynell? Am I saying it right? She started with 2, 3, 4, 5. And then William says there's a different way. Go for it.
There's 2 reds and 2 reds and white and 1 white.
So how do you figure out there's 5 if there's 2 reds and 2 reds and 1 white? What did you do? How did you know that was 5?
Because I look at the color pattern.
And you said, let me do what you said. You said there was 2 reds,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And then what?
White, 1 white.
And so how many are there now?
3.
Did you do it like that, or did you use something else?
I do.
Because you said there were 2 reds and 2 reds. That's what you said first. Let me put those together. Do you know how many that is if there's 2 reds and 2 reds?
4.
And then there's a white one, but it's in the middle. So how did you count that?
I in the color pattern. Red, white, red, red.
So what number did you use?
2,
And then you used...
2.
Does anybody know what 2 and 2 is? You can tell me. Go ahead, say it out loud. 4. And then we have 1 more, so how many is that?
5.
5. I think William, thank you, William, he might have been trying to do something like that. Thank you, sir. All right, so first graders, how many are on this tower altogether? How many? 5. There are 5. Okay, now watch closely. I'm going to show you another tower. I'm going to put it right next to this tower of 5. But this time I want you to tell me how many are there in all. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
And if you think you know how many there are, what are you going to do? Show me. You ready? Okay, hands on your lap. Here's the next tower. Get ready. How many are right here?
5.
You ready? Here we go. thumbs to your chest, that means you think you know how many there are. Will you talk to a neighbor? Talk to a different neighbor this time. Maybe somebody behind you. Tell them how many you think there are. Well, tell your neighbor. Tell William. All together, both towers. Did you tell him? All right, who would like to share how many there were? Now, I'm going to ask that young man in the purple back there. Come on up, sir. He was ready pretty quickly. I saw him put his thumbs to his chest pretty quick. How many do you think there are altogether? All of these. How many do you think there are?
11.
How did you figure that out? What did you do? Tell me what you did first.
2.
You did what?
2.
Show me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
How many? First you said there were 11, and now you think there's how many?
10.
So what do you think? Is there 10 or is there 11?
10.
Okay, thank you. What was your name?
Carlton.
Carlton. Thank you, Carlton. Does anybody else think there's 10 or 11 like Carlton? Let's see. Let me pick a young lady. Sparkly shirt. Come on up. How many do you think there are? First Carlton thought there were 11, and then he checked, and now he thinks there's 10. How many do you think there are?
11.
Okay, let's stand to the side for me like a teacher. Turn like that. Okay. And how did you count them?
5, 6, 7, 8,
So you knew this was 6? How did you know this was 6?
9, 10.
And how did you count them? Count them for me. Did you count all of them, or did you do something else? Can you show me? Okay, and then what did you do after you figured out that this tower had 6? Then what did you do? Okay, and then you had 6, and then you had 5. How did you figure out that that was 11? What did you do? Okay, can you do that for us? Did you count all of them? Go ahead and do that for us, just like Carlton did. Watch closely, Carlton.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
How many did she get this time?
11.
How many did Carlton get?
10.
So we have 2 different answers here. Thank you, sweetie. Have a seat. What was your name?
Leslie.
Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. Now, let's go back. I want to go back to this tower for a minute. Do we remember how many are in this tower? 5. Okay. And now I'm going to stop and teach for a second, I think. I put this orange tower right next to it. Let's compare these. Which tower has more? The orange one or the red and white one? You can tell me.
Orange.
How many more does it have? How many more cubes does it have than the red one?
6.
It has, how many does it have? 6?
6.
This one has 5. Let me show you something. It has more, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you how many more right here. I'm going to take this off. Now, which one has more now?
5.
Which one has more?
No, either.
So what do we say about these 2 towers?
They're 10. They're medium.
They're medium. They're the same. I heard you say there's 10. You said that so fast. How did you know that this was 10?
Because when I just look at it, I know it's 10.
Does anybody know why she knows it's 10? It sounds kind of like magic to me. All I did was I took this off, and she just said, it's 10. She didn't even come up and touch them or count them. What was your name?
Darcy.
Darcy? How did she magically know that this was 10? I need help trying to figure out what she's thinking. How did she know this was 10? How did she magically know that?
I want 6 or 5.
Okay, does this one have 6 anymore?
No.
What did I do?
5 and 5.
So now it has 5 and 5. Do we know what 5 and 5 makes?
10.
So many of us know what 5 and 5 makes. So now, how many are right here now?
10.
Since they're both the same, they're both 5 and 5. If I put this one back on top,
11.
see, now look how quickly we know that. Why do we know that so fast? How do we know that that's 11?
Because she told us.
What did she tell us?
She said, because she counted it, and then we said 11.
But if we go back to this, how many are here now?
10.
And I just went like this, and now you know there's 11. How come? We didn't even have to count them like she did earlier. We just know it. How do we know that? Is it Darcy? Is that what you said? Darcy? She knew that so quickly. She said, 10. And then I put this one back on, and everybody goes, 11. How did you know that so fast, William?
When I see the 5 and 6, I can put them in my room. I'm talking about the 5.
Okay.
I see 5.
Listen closely to William.
5 and 5 make 10 because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Uh-oh. Let's go back to what William has on his fingers. He has 5. Show me 5. Hold them up so everybody can see 5. Just 5, William. Just 5. And then he said there's 5 more. And does he have any more fingers left?
No.
So how are we going to know how many are right here if I put one more?
11.
How do you know that?
Hey, Marvin, put your finger up. One finger.
Oh, he kind of borrowed somebody's finger, maybe in his mind. Okay. So let's look at what William has. He had 5 and 5 and 1. He knows 5 and 5 makes what?
10.
5 and 5 makes 10, but he borrowed a friend's finger, and he just knew that that was 11. All right, let's move on. I'm going to show you a different problem now. So we're going to get away from